We at Car and Bike, we drive a new car almost every single day. Some for few hours over limited kilometers and some very extensively over different time, days, conditions and terrains. But rarely do we come across a car that has our hearts and minds. But today I have one such car with us which has unanimously won our heart. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the Toyota Urban Cruiser Hyryder Hybrid, and over the past 3 months our team has clocked close to 10,000 kilometers with this one. So in this video you and I will be taking a look at all the goods and the bads and everything in between about the Toyota Urban Cruiser Hyryder Hybrid. But before we go ahead, there are a couple of things that I need to inform you about. First is that this isn't exactly a new car. This is a couple of years old when the Hyryder was first launched in India. Now there is a new model year 2025 update for the Hyryder which you can buy, which offers you a few more features that this one is missing. Some of these features are listed on your screen right now. And secondly, this is a high mileage car. When it came to us, it had 30,000 kilometers on the odometer, and now it's clocking almost 40,000 kilometers. So with that cleared out, let's dive into one of our favorite cars. You're watching Car and Bike. I'm Bilal Firfiray. But before we go ahead, you know the drill. It's like, share and subscribe to the Car and Bike YouTube channel if you haven't already, and hit the bell icon as well so that you can be notified every time we bring out a new and informative video such as this one. And let's start with the way this one looks. Now, I for one prefer the styling of the Hyryder over its Maruti Suzuki counterpart, because this one, it looks very Japanese. It has that sleek, subtle, sober looking design which is not out of the box, but it still grabs attention. And our particular example that we have here, it's finished in this blue-black dual paint scheme, and it's a very common one as I see a lot of people preferring this color on the road these days. There are subtle attention to detail that I particularly love. The little chrome insert on the nose, the mesh finish inside that grille, twin slit LEDs up front and a C-shaped signature for the sleek tail lamps, and a really well proportioned silhouette look fabulous. The more I see it, the more I appreciate it. However, I stand by my opinion that a slightly taller girth would have given the Hyryder a better stance and liberated more space inside the cabin. More on that latter later. And then we come to the cabin, which isn't very flashy, flamboyant, or doesn't have a lot of party pieces to play around. If you want that kind of a cabin, you have to look elsewhere like the Creta, the Seltos, or even the MG range. But what you have here is a function over form. Sure, it is a dark cabin, but it has a dual theme to it. It has a black and brown, but more importantly, it also has some tasteful inserts such as this brushed silver finish on the dashboard, there's piano black inserts, and even soft touch material used all around the cabin. Even the ergonomics, it isn't half too bad. And then we come to the seats. They are large, but they aren't very soft or absorbing. They're flat and hard, but spending long hours, of which I've done a lot in this car, even after spending long hours in the seat, you don't get out tired or aching. More importantly, the ergonomics, as I said earlier, it's spot on. There are physical buttons, you have good visibility all around, and more importantly, when talking about visibility, it has UV glasses on the windows. And on the flip side, as I said earlier, this is a rather straightforward cabin. Nothing fancy here, but there are some parts which are a result of economies of scale, which means these rather familiar parts used here around the cabin bring down the overall feel of this almost 20-25 lakh rupee car. Lack of fancy bits I'm fine with, and I'm pretty sure many owners won't mind either. Feature wise too, you have everything that you need, but a slightly better touchscreen, a bit more feel good features, and this one would have been a Creta killer for sure. And then we come to the second row and the space that's on offer over there. Because with the hybrid powertrain, the lithium-ion battery placed underneath the seat, it rather reduces the headroom that's on offer. So if you are a tall person, you would be scraping your head on the roof despite having a large panoramic sunroof. And even shoulder room wise, sitting two people abreast would be a comfortable fit, and fitting in three would be a tight fit. But more importantly, sitting at the back, the seats, they still remain hard and firm rather than soft and absorbing. But still, if you have to spend good kilometers, it won't be a bad place provided that you're carrying only 4 people on board. And talking about 4 people on board, carrying their weekend luggage in the boot space would be a bit of a challenge, because at 250 liters, it's the same amount of boot space you usually used to get in older hatchbacks. This is a big CSUV, so a 250 liters of boot space is rather a tight fit, and it won't be able to move your house, or it won't be able to carry full luggages or do airport runs that frequently. But however, that is a trade-off for something else that I will tell you in some time. But that is a good trade-off in my opinion, because if you get a big car and fit a CNG in the boot, it definitely eats up your space. And when it comes to features, you also have everything sorted over here. You have everything like auto headlamps and wipers, wireless smartphone integration, wireless charging pad, panoramic sunroof, ventilated front seats, even drive modes and auto dimming IRVM. You also get an all-digital driver's display, a 360-degree camera, and even a heads-up display. And in the all-digital driver's display, you do get a lot of information on offer. Yeah, you do have to scroll a bit for that, but you do get all the information that you need. Now, over the 3 months I spent with the Hyryder, never once the lack of ADAS felt like a deal breaker for me. But there are a few niggles that I've experienced. The first niggle is that the wireless charging pad, it never once fully charged my phone. It stops your charging for no good reason, and at one time I really had low charging in my phone and no USB on me, and that wireless charging pad, it didn't come to my rescue. I was stranded without my phone. Secondly, the USB type A port that is provided up front, it is not good for charging. It's only for connectivity, so it doesn't charge your phone adequately. However, there is a type C port at the back which does charge your phone adequately fast, but you have to wire around your USB type C around the cabin for the front passengers. So that is a bit of a niggle. Now that has been sorted with the 2025 model year update, but otherwise this is a slight hindrance. Now the next thing that I want to talk about is you do get the UV protection on the windows, but for the sunroof, there is a very thin and flimsy material used between the sunroof and the passengers. It doesn't do well enough to protect the cabin from the summer heat. So the cabin, when parked out in the sun, it does really get hot. And even when you're driving, say during the noon in the summers, the sun is really hot and you can feel the cabin not being adequately cooled by the AC, just because that thin, flimsy film, it doesn't protect the occupant really well. Now, if you buy this one, you can actually add a UV protection film on the sunroof so that the heat transfer inside the cabin is reduced a bit, but the thin flimsy film, it needs a bit of an addressing. And the third thing I want to address is the touchscreen. Now the touchscreen, without any pizzazz or fancy user interface, I'm fine with it. And I'm pretty sure most of the owners would also be fine with it because of the overall personality of this car. However, I have one thing or one issue to complain about. The connectivity rather, because if you have your phone connected to it wirelessly or otherwise, and you have to receive a call, the call firstly might just drop for no good reason, or otherwise the other person on the other end would not hear your voice and you won't be able to hear the other person's voice either. So what you have to do is put out your phone, then put out on speaker, and then continue your call, because the call would still not drop, but you won't be able to continue talking. Now this is especially not recommended when driving. This issue, it can be resolved through a simple software update. Now our car, it never received that update, but do you have a similar user interface or the operating system in your touchscreen, be it the Hyryder or the Maruti Suzuki Grand Vitara? Let us know your experience with it in the comment section below. And then we come to the most important part, that is driving the Hyryder over the few thousand kilometers that we have driven it. Now I have driven all the EVs that are on sale in India and I surely advocate for them. But the Hyryder, it has given me a real head scratching, because after driving this, I have to admit, hybrids are really awesome. Now this one, the Hyryder, it brought the strong hybrid powertrain to the masses. More importantly, it is a strong hybrid that has a good enough battery pack. It's a lithium-ion battery pack which can allow you to start the car every time in an EV mode. More importantly, when you're driving the Hyryder in the city, it tries to keep the entire powertrain in the EV mode as much as possible. In fact, I personally like to play a game when driving the car to keep the car in the EV mode and reduce the usage of the ICE powertrain as much as possible. It's a really fun game I usually play. But more importantly, when you're driving in the city, the acceleration or the throttle response is as good as an EV, which no other petrol or diesel car even can match that instantaneous torque that you usually get in an EV. You can experience a similar acceleration or the throttle response in a strong hybrid. More importantly, on the move, the switch between the 3-cylinder petrol and the electric motor is near seamless. You'd only notice the little extra vibration of the 3-cylinder when it kicks in if you are paying attention. Otherwise, it does that nice and easy without any announcement. Sure, there's a downside to it, but let me tell you that this is one fantastic car to drive. We took it over some nice roads, twisty roads, bad roads and no roads, and it remained unfazed. The suspension is stout but comfortable. It has that solidly built feel to it. The steering has gotten a big wig and heavy, but come on, this car has almost 40,000 kilometers on the odometer. A good service would sort this out as well. But it's not bad, it's predictable, easy to maneuver, and it's sorted for everyday drivability. And then let me tell you the one factor about the Hyryder which made the keys of it a prized possession in our team, and everyone was ready to steal it at every possible chance. It's the mileage, because over the 10,000 kilometers that we have driven it, the Hyryder was clocking an average mileage of 20 kmpl. Be it the city or the highway runs, we were able to do 800 kilometers on a tank full. So if you calculate, around 4,000 to 4,500 rupees of a tank full lasted 800 kilometers, giving you a per kilometer cost of just 5 rupees. And when was the last time you heard a petrol car give you a mileage or a per kilometer cost of just 5 rupees? Now on the flip side, the Hyryder might be a really efficient runabout. However, it's not a car that is made for the enthusiast. Well, to be honest with you, none of the car on sale around the world with a strong hybrid powertrain, they are made for the enthusiast kind, right? However, talking about particularly about the Hyryder that we have here, the 3-cylinder engine, it feels rather crude when it kicks in. It's paired to a CVT automatic gearbox, which isn't exactly a quick shifting one, and the overall driving dynamics, it's not made for someone who wants to be a hooligan behind the wheel. If you want that sort of a car, you have to look elsewhere, like the turbo petrol engine that's on offer in so many cars in this very segment. However, this one, it's made for the public who want their car to be sober, subtle, and take them from point A to point B without any hassle. And lastly, you get a Toyota badge up front, which by default means reliability, good resale value, and trusted sales and after-sales service across the country. This alone could be the reason of getting yourself the Hyryder actually. So after 3 months and many kilometers later, you know everything that we liked and disliked about the Toyota Urban Cruiser Hyryder. Well, for me, it's like one of your friends who's always there for you. Someone you can rely on, who is not very demanding but is always dependable. And it's like a friend someone you usually forget about, but it's always there, discreetly got your back. It's not without flaws either, but it fits so well in your life that you start overlooking its shortcomings and start appreciating everything that it is. Now for me, the Hyryder has become a default recommendation in a CSUV segment. And if you're looking to buy a CSUV, I would tell you just go ahead and buy this one. Because this one, you'd buy it with your brain. But the more time you spend with it, your heart will agree too. Well, that's all from me in this video. I hope you liked it, and if you did, do hit that like button and share this video with someone who's looking to buy a CSUV or is a fence-sitter and worried whether or not they should go for the Hyryder. Well, I would recommend they should. And if you have any other questions regarding the Hyryder which I didn't cover in the course of this video, do write them down in the comment section below, and I promise we will address them all personally. But that's all from me in this video. This is Bilal signing off. Until next time.